Hello. Today's assignment is to understand the manuscript. You're going to prepare a manuscript, which is a written work. And this manuscript is going to include some of your writing as a narrator and some excerpts from literary works like poems or short pieces of a paragraph from a novel. And I'll explain all this. So we're going to prepare the written manuscript and you're going to submit it. And you're going to understand how to use the script markings in the creative readings. So let's go to your book. There is an assignment in your book, page 42, but I have revised it since for more ease of preparation. So I'll go through the revision, which is on your Blackboard as well. Okay, so let's share our screen with your book. And we're going to take a moment because the book is coming along right now. Okay, here we go. So here's your book and the explanation. I just wanted to show you. We are not going to be preparing it for a verbal delivery. It's much more concerning that you understand how to do the manuscript form, because essentially when you are working with manuscript speaking, somebody can be hiring you to write a speech and then use your script markings so that they know how you want that information delivered to the audience. So I just wanted to show it to you in your book, and now I'm going to bring up the assignment as it appears in your Blackboard. We call this assignment 2 because I skipped assignment 1, but you already had your exam 1, so again, not to make you crazy with numbers. So the directions are for preparing the written manuscript. This assignment is written submission only, okay, as I just explained. So, number 1, we're going to go through the step-by-step instructions. You're going to pick a theme, anything you like to talk about, anything you like to read about. So, look on if you have a bookshelf at home. Most of you read through your iPhones or Kindles or things. What do you like to read? What topic? So you're going to pick a theme. I gave you some suggestions. You don't have to stick to these. I gave you love, war, fear, any type of theme that you like to read about. For today's purposes, I'm going to just use the theme of nature when I'm explaining, because I love nature. I'm just going to write as an example because I know people may hear this and think that they have to use. So again, you could pick anything. The next step is you're going to locate 3 poems based on that theme. I suggest poems because they're shorter to read, and you may not even be using the entire poem, because for this manuscript, we usually use excerpts. So let me stop sharing this for a moment, and I want to go back to your book. And I want to show you in your book, as you flip through the pages, it helps you identify where to find poems. So again, in our college, your databases are listed to your left. So if you wanted not to use poems, you can maybe go to short stories or speeches. Again, dealing with the theme that you selected. I've also listed some current contemporary writers because it is easier to work with contemporary language, because not everyone has taken courses and to understand Shakespeare and Poe, etc. So you can start there as well if you do not have a particular theme. Oh, I just want to go back. You can also use same author. So let's say you love Sylvia Plath or Anne Sexton. That could be a theme. Okay, it's just written a little bit differently, but that's also considered a theme. Okay, let me show you the next couple of pages. Those of you who are not really sure how to understand a poem, on page 44 here on the top, gives you an understanding of how to understand a poem. And then you have, when you're looking up through, your websites, you may get lost. This page is like a worksheet, jotting down what you remember, because I know sometimes when I look for things, I have so many things open. So if you have a printer, you could print this out, or you can add, write in it if you're allowed to, but it helps you keep things in a list. This list is a list of websites. Some are around and some have not been around for a while. So I don't know if it helps you, but the library had given me this as a start point for you. Now we come to excerpts. So obviously this speech is much longer. This poem is longer. This also written work is longer, but I've selected a paragraph from it that concerned itself with the topic that I picked, just to example you what an excerpt is. So if a poem is 3/4 of a page, you don't have to use all of it, just one portion that deals with your theme. So that's what an excerpt is. It's a portion of a longer work. I know where the longer work is because in this written work, you're also going to have to put together a works cited page. Okay, so there you have all the material you need to know in your book. And I gave you an example here of an excerpt. So you do not have to, I'm sorry, you do not have to write or copy and paste the entire length. So select 3 poems or edited pieces as I've showed you. So I'm in your assignment here, and my example today was nature. Okay, so 3 poems. I remember reading a poem that I loved called Autumn Leaves by John Ullman. I'm sure there are many poems named Autumn Leaves. It's probably a full-length page, so I would probably use an excerpt of that portion that really shows the beauty of nature, because that's the part of the poem that I want to use in this manuscript. Another selection I remember reading is a short story called Chums, and I forgot the author right now, but again, it's a short story, it's many, many pages. I'm only going to use 2 paragraphs in the middle of the short story that talked about a winter scene in Russia. Again, my topic or my theme was nature. So I have a variety of nature. I have beautiful autumn, I have devastating winter, and then my next selection is the first paragraph in the novel Out of Africa. It's just a wonderful descriptive paragraph as they land on the continent of Africa. You do not have to use 3 different pieces as I'm exampling. You can have 3 poems. You can have 3 portions of short story, or you can have whatever you decided is your theme. Okay, you certainly can email me with questions, but it's up to you. You can have, if you were doing about humanity, you may have a poem on humanity. You may want to take an excerpt from Eleanor Roosevelt's speech on humanity. Again, you could do all 3 poems as well. Most of you may like Chicken Soup or other prose, which are short writings like that. That's also an avenue for you to go. All right, so once you pick and then we look through these pages so you know about that. So once you have your 3 pieces, we go to step 3. Now you're going to prepare an introduction. So remember, this manuscript is incorporating a narrator and a narrator's voice, creative readings with more use of vocal variety, And that is going to be shown through your script markings. And then we have what is called a transitional paragraph, which we'll talk about, is your writing, navigating us between the three selections.